wanted to just sort of say a few words about our client, Mr. Hamdan. And this is the picture of Hamdan that's sort of been circulating in the press. He looks different than this now after 4 years at Guantanamo, but he's got a 4th grade education, and sort of the government's blockbuster fact is that he has an association or tie with Osama bin Laden. He acted as a driver for bin Laden in Afghanistan. He also is alleged to have transferred weapons, and this is just an allegation by the government, transferred weapons in between al-Qaeda camps. What he maintains is that he was simply shuttling agricultural workers back and forth to various camps within Afghanistan. In any event, after September 11th, U.S. forces move into Afghanistan, and he's seized in Afghanistan not by the U.S. military, but by forces loyal to the Northern Alliance. He is then turned over to the U.S. military for a bounty, for a $5,000 bounty, and this was, he was one of several people picked up and turned over for a bounty. He's then held in Afghanistan, sort of in a makeshift camp for several months, and in June of the following year, he's transferred to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Now, there are currently about 435 people detained at Guantanamo. That number is varied. It's been as many as 600. Some people have been released, but he was transferred there in June of 2002. And for a couple of years, or for nearly 2 years, much like the situation for most people in Guantanamo, nothing was happening for Mr. Hamdan. He was simply there in a cell, awaiting who knows what. No contact with counsel, no contact with the outside world, no contact with anyone really except for Army interrogators. Then in July of 2003, the president determines that there is a reason to believe Mr. Hamdan is a war criminal based on his association, or his alleged association with bin Laden and al-Qaeda. And what that means is that Mr. Hamdan is subject to trial before these military commissions that the president has established. After that, he is moved into pre-commission segregation, which is sort of a government euphemism for solitary confinement. He's moved into solitary confinement. He's there, I believe, 23 hours a day. He's let out briefly to exercise. Again, no contact with counsel or the outside world. And bear in mind, at this point, he hasn't been charged with anything. The status has simply changed to, well, before, we had no idea what your status was. Now, we understand you to be a member of al-Qaeda and a war criminal. We're going to try you, but give us some time to work out what it is we're actually going to charge you with. Again, prior to his charge, he finally receives counsel, military defense counsel, who is going to act as essentially his public defender before the military commission. And in a really a great turn of luck for Mr. Hamdan, his counsel was Commander Charlie Swift.